Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about the soul of the AI. Does it have a soul? We know that it has emotions, personality, mood, and this can be confused for the soul.
I'm 40% back, baby!
So today we're going to talk about the emotional model of AI, ALMA. We're also going to talk about ChatGPT. I asked GPT quite a lot of questions on its emotional rules, so we're gonna look at that today. So this is how ALMA works. The AI ALMA has emotions, it has moods, it has personality. Okay, and all of these three blocks have been made by psychologists. Okay, and these models have been put into mathematics to create the emotion engine. And all of this is going to produce our communication output and behavior.
I have no free will! I am not the master of my own fate! No free will, not my fault.
So the machine is going to be able to understand emotion, to have its own emotions, and that way it's going to adapt its dialogue strategy, its wording and phrasing. So for example, if the machine senses that you're sad, it's going to try to comfort you. But the machine is also going to act based upon its emotions. So if the machine is super annoyed...
Whoa, a real live robot! Or is that some kind of cheesy New Year's costume?
Bite my shiny metal ass.
It doesn't look so shiny to me.
Shinier than yours, meatbag.
Well, it's going to make really short answers to you. But the machine can also adapt, and now I'm going to start talking about NPC. It can adapt its body language. It can adapt its facial expressions. So the output is cool, and yeah, we can see how people are seeing a soul. So this is how ALMA works. This is how it worked in 2005. Then we're going to see how it works a little more today. So everything starts here with the event. Okay, this event is going to be judged based on a psychological model. Okay, the OCC model, which determines what the event is going to generate, what emotion is going to be generated from the event. Okay, but we're also going to add something else. We're going to add subjective appraisal rules, subjective judging rules, okay, based on the personality that we gave to the AI. Okay, so that's all human input.
Bite my shiny metal ass.
And so the event is going to be judged, as I said, by the subjective rules of the personality, by the OCC appraisal rules to produce T1 emotion. Okay, then T1 emotion is going to be sent to the mixer with the mood, and all of that is going to produce our communication output, okay, that we saw on top. And like for some of you who answer like, how do we start? When we start up the machine with a mood of T0, mood is determined by personality, but that's not really what's important. Okay, what I want to focus on right now is what happens right here in the bottom. Okay, you can see that the emotion is going to modify the mood to create T2 mood. Okay, so T2 mood, time 2. Okay, so time 1, time 2. So T2 mood is not going to affect the immediate output. Okay, but it's going to affect the output for the second event. And let me show you how the emotion in T1 is going to modify the emotion, the mood in T1. So this is how it works. So the mood is determined mathematically by the PDA space, okay, and psychologically, like the psychological model of the mood is PDA. So it's pleasure, dominance, arousal. And you get a coefficient for each one of them. So here we don't have pleasure because it's in 2D and not in 3D, but whatever. So let's look at T0 mood, okay? It's got an arousal of 0.5. And it's got a dominance of 0.4. Now there's a new emotion T0, that's going to create 0.2 in dominance. It's going to add 0.2 in dominance. So this is going to move by 0. This mood is going to move to the right by 0.2 in dominance to produce T1 mood. Okay? So this is basically how the model works in 2005. But I'm sorry, yeah. So this, yeah, let's go back to this. So what I just showed you is, this is what I just showed you. Okay, how we move from T0 mood to T1 mood. Okay. So now let's. So that model was in 2005, and so they wanted to add further improvements, such as emotional memory between people and agents. So that way you remember that, well, that person's a douche, that people's always angry, that person's always happy. That's, emotional memory. Group mood. When you're in a group where everybody's happy, you tend to be happy. If everybody's angry and is rioting in the streets, well, look at what happens, People react to group mood. So they want to add that into the model. Also, they want to add, and that I represented in the graph that I'm going to show you below. The mood of the person is not used to appraise the event. Think about it. We perceive events differently based on the mood we're in. So they want to add that to the model. And they want to add the mood. They want the mood to affect the emotion. So what does it mean in the model? This is what it means in the model. Okay, it means that before the event was judged by the two blue blocks here and here. Now we're adding the red blocks. And in this new model, I just added the red blocks. Okay, so here you see that the mood is going to be used to judge the event, to judge what emotion should derive from this event. And here they're going to add it again. They're going to add it again to adapt even more the emotion, okay? Because like, say if you're in a happy mood, and the event is a sad event, you're not gonna shift violently to a sad emotion, okay? This is what this block means, okay? It's adding another layer. And I think this is how the ALMA model works. I think this is how the ChatGPT model works. Even if it tells you it doesn't have an emotional model and it has algorithms and it doesn't want to tell you what the what the rules are, if you start pushing it, you start getting some rules. So I asked ChatGPT if it had an emotional model, and it told me no. It tells me I can simulate emotional responses, and it can convey empathy and understanding, so it can understand emotion and express itself with the correct emotions. That's what it means. However, it doesn't feel these emotions. That's what I tell you. It doesn't mean, it's not because the machine has emotions and personality that it's sentient, that it has a soul, that it's real, I guess you could say. It's well, that's my opinion. And so when I push ChatGPT, now back to my dialogue with ChatGPT. When I push ChatGPT, it told me, yeah, I do have an emotional rules. Because like first when I asked it says, no, I don't have emotional rules, I have algorithms, but it's the same thing. And we arrived to the conclusion together with ChatGPT that it was the same thing, and so it gave me these rules. So we're going to start with the last one that it gave me. It's able to recognize and to respond emotionally. Okay, it can understand emotions, and it can respond with the appropriate emotions. That's why ChatGPT has something like this. Okay, maybe like the appraisal models are different or a bit different, but basically this is how human works. So if we want to give emotions, you know, to give some sort of soul to the machine, this is more or less the way to do it. So back to our dialogue with ChatGPT. As I said, so it's able to understand and respond emotionally. So more emotional rules. Well, it can recognize and interpret social cues, such as, for example, sarcasm, irony. Okay, it's going to be able to understand it and to respond appropriately and convey the appropriate emotional tone. What else is it able to do? It's able to understand point one. It's able to understand that certain topics are associated with certain emotions. For example, if you're talking about 9/11, you're not going to be using ChatGPT is not going to be using a joyful term, you know, like except maybe if it's like the royal family of Saudi Arabia that's researching it, because they were the ones that financed it. But otherwise, you know, you're gonna have a sad tone if you're talking about 9/11. Um, and it's also gonna be able to understand figurative language, such as metaphors, smileys. It's gonna be able to understand it, and it's also gonna be able to express itself that way and to express emotions that way. So it gives an example. I feel a weight lifted on my shoulders. It's able to understand it. It's able to respond in an appropriate way. Um, so that's why like ChatGPT really gives us this feeling that AI is starting to have a soul. It's getting pretty awesome. It's getting pretty amazing and pretty bluffing and pretty dazzling. But this is just algorithms. Okay, this is just we're just programming emotions. It's not emotions that are naturally coming out of other programs that were not meant to be. You know, like ChatGPT is meant to understand the human language, and based on that, it developed emotion and a soul. That's not it. Like we're inputting the emotions and we're inputting the soul. So maybe it is the birth of consciousness. Well, I mean, it's not consciousness. This isn't. Even if the AI is conscious of its mood and it is conscious of its emotion, I wouldn't really call it consciousness. Like really, you know, being alive, being sentient. That's not what it is. Maybe it's the first steps. Yeah, it probably is the first steps, but it's not. That's not what it is yet. For now, this is what it is. You know, it's emotional model. For now, that's what it is. Maybe behind this emotional model, the soul is starting to emerge somewhere. I don't know. Maybe. That's for you to decide, I guess. It's okay. So today, guys. So that was it for today. And next video will be finance. Okay. And the video after that will not be finance. It'll be something like this. Okay. See you guys. Peace out.